Walk us through exactly what they're talking about here, Rebecca.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a trend spotted by my colleague in Singapore, Josh Xiao, where more and more social media users referring to themselves as 金融消费者, essentially calling themselves financial consumers. Now, this is a term that was used by the regulators to reassure people that they protect people's financial interests just a couple of weeks ago. But now what we're seeing are the emergence of these videos on social media. Behind me, this one on Douyin, viewed 14,000 times, where people are saying, we are no longer investors, we have a new nickname, we have a new name, and that is a financial consumer. And our job isn't to think about profits, but to think of ourselves as consumers spending money. So quite a big shift in how people are talking about it, this sort of pessimism and frustration. And then also on Weibo, we also see the emergence of some of these sort of more sarcastic social media posts emerging. So, for example, people commenting that although the vast majority of Chinese stocks are falling, asking, well, there are a handful that are rising. Are we maybe on the precipice of a bull market? We see other sort of more sarcastic commentary from other posts referring to themselves, again, as financial consumers. They are saying that our job is to support and spend, and if we are consuming financial markets, we are supporting the country. And if we are consuming financial markets and supporting the national team to make money, again, we are supporting the country. So sort of sarcastically urging people not to worry, not to be anxious, not to be concerned, but just to get spending. And this sort of disillusionment, this sort of pessimism and this anxiety really speaks, I think, interestingly to me, to the sort of mood on the ground a little bit as we head into the plenum among some of those 200 million mom and pop investors across China who have gotten so used to the poor performance in Chinese stocks. Also, fundamentally, this issue of confidence that is really lacking.
Yeah, you mentioned, so financial consumers, that's interesting. That's a broader reflection of how people are feeling in China, Rebecca. You've also been reporting about how incomes are actually growing more slowly these days and leaving some feeling poor. What are some of the surveys saying now?
Yeah, my colleagues and I have done a lot of reporting on this in the past, but this is a fantastic, new, really insightful survey led by a collaboration between CSIS and professors from Stanford and Harvard, looking at how people have changed their views on inequality and their financial prospects over a period of nearly 2 decades. And we do see this remarkable shift here. So this one particularly looks at the reasons people attribute to becoming rich in China. You can see back in 2004, it's really about meritocracy, ability, talent, a high education. Now, fast forward to now, 2023, a big shift, people really seeing that it's down to connections and growing up in a rich family. That's particularly striking because actually in the period of 2004, we were coming off a period in China's history where inequality had actually really blossomed and really expanded versus today where we've seen a relatively sort of stable line by comparison compared to the 80s and the 90s, and yet these big perception shifts are happening across the country, particularly given some of the difficulties in accessing insights on the ground and surveys. I think sort of research like this really helps kind of understand those more sort of seismic shifts about how people are viewing perceptions, how people are viewing their financial prospects. This shift essentially from thinking 20 years ago, if I just kind of raise myself up by my bootstraps, I can make something of myself, to now being a lot more sort of pessimistic and pointing to these structural, societal and socioeconomic reasons why they can't quite make it.
Yeah, Guanxi.
Huh?
It's all about the Guanxi.
It's all about the Guanxi, as you say.
Well, you know? Yeah.
I thought it always was, but anyways.
Yeah, maybe more so now.
A bit of a change, yeah.